Atlanta Motor Speedway is the first racetrack to say that yes, they will have full capacity for their next race, and their race is July 10th and 11th for that race weekend. So yeah, the first time since Phoenix of 2020 in March will a NASCAR race have full capacity available. That doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to sell out, sell every ticket, but it is available, and it is a big deal for NASCAR, and I'm assuming the rest of the sports world, so let's look at it. Atlanta Motor Speedway announced this morning, we are opening our grandstands to full capacity for the July 10th and 11th Quaker State 400 presented by Walmart NASCAR weekend, and then they give a link with more information. I'm assuming that it's going to be, still COVID stuff in terms of wearing your face mask and, trying your best to stay away from people. Obviously, if it's full capacity, you're going to be sitting next to someone, but, just the small things. But, because one of the reasons they stated is that because so many people in Georgia, at least, have gotten vaccinated, they've been able to discuss with local officials, look, since so many people are getting vaccinated now, can we do the race with full capacity? And I'm sure they said yes, or obviously they said yes. And Atlanta Motor Speedway went ahead and announced and said, we're selling every single ticket that we can for this race weekend in July. And I'm a little surprised, I don't know if that's the right word, but I would have thought that it would have been Texas for the All-Star race. Texas opened up about a month ago, maybe a little bit somewhere around there. So I thought they would have announced maybe Texas, maybe COTA, that one of those races might be full capacity, but they haven't said anything yet. I think last time I heard about COTA, it was somewhere in the 40 to 50% capacity range. As for Texas All-Star, I haven't heard anything about that capacity. But I thought it would have been one of those just because of their state regulations and, being less restrictions than everyone else. But Georgia, Atlanta, July, it's about two and a half months away from that race still. So there's still a good amount of time to get more people vaccinated, get people ready for that race. But I still am a little bit surprised that it's not one of the Texas races because those are still a little bit away too. But that's a big deal, obviously, for the motorsports world, for the sports world. We've seen some sports events have full capacity. I can't remember. I think it was Australia the Australian Open maybe, that they were able to have a full capacity for their event there. I'm not sure if they did face mask and all that fun stuff, but and then also the Texas Rangers, I believe their opening day at their new stadium, they did full capacity for their stadium. So this isn't the first event to have full capacity back, but it could start a trend in NASCAR and maybe other sports, but NASCAR specifically. Other racetracks could see this and start to discuss with their local officials, like, look, they did it. They looked like they did fine. They didn't get a bunch of positive cases, so, I think we should do it too. So maybe starting at Atlanta, maybe that can start the trend to get things back to normal, to get things back at the racetrack to full operations. I'm sure that the drivers and the teams will still be in their little competition bubble because, you don't want them getting it from some random fans. So I'm sure the garage access will still be limited. But in terms of the grandstands, I think this could start a trend. I really do. If we look at the schedule, obviously it's gonna just like what we talked about last year in March when this thing first came around. It's gonna be depending on the local government, the state government, on what they decide, what they want to do with the racetrack, with the race teams. I guess with NASCAR itself, they're going to have to talk about, look, you guys can have this many fans, or they can say, you know what, go for it, have all your fans. So obviously Georgia and Atlanta made they came to a decision. They said, hey, it's going to work. But as for every other race this season, it's still undetermined. But as for other events this year, if we just go down the schedule, so the July 10th and 11th race at Atlanta is the first race as of now that's going to have full capacity. As I said earlier, one of the things decided was vaccinations. Lots of not just like fans, but also teams and drivers also getting the vaccination for COVID. And, that's a big factor, I think, to it. And if they have a certain amount of people in the state, I don't know if that's the exact reason, but with more and more people getting vaccinations, That's kind of helping the case, I guess. And that was probably a deciding factor for Georgia in terms of letting Atlanta have full capacity. So I think it also, another thing, like I was just saying with the vaccinations, it depends on how each state handles its vaccinations, how many it gives out, how many it's projected to give out to how many people in the state. But yeah, so looking down the schedule for NASCAR, as I said, I think June 12th, 13th, the Texas Motor Speedway All-Star Race, I think that could be a possibility. Maybe there's still a little bit of time to let that get decided. I think they're doing a race at Texas Motor Speedway and IndyCar this weekend, so we'll see how that goes in terms of fans, camping, all that, to see how that race weekend works. And maybe if Texas has success with that, no cases or anything, maybe they might open up some more grandstands for the All-Star race. Nashville the next week, I don't know about that. I don't know much about Tennessee. Pocono, I doubt that we'll see it for the doubleheader. Maybe, I don't know. It's once again too far out. Road America, Atlanta, obviously we just talked about. New Hampshire, I don't know. Watkins Glen, that's August, so you got to wait a bit. I think the majority of these, if we go down the schedule, it's going to be, we're going to have to wait a bit just because, 2.5, 3 months out, guessing it now, we don't know what's going to happen next month. So we still have to wait. But if the trend keeps on going the way it's going, which is restrictions being taken away, more people getting vaccinated, then in that case, I think we'll have a lot more fans in the grandstands, and we'll see multiple races by the end of this year with full capacity. Daytona, perhaps, in Florida. Maybe some of these other playoff tracks. Maybe Bristol. If we could get full capacity for Bristol night race, I think that would be huge. Bristol night race usually sells out the house anyways, and it's one of the most anticipated races of the year. So I think that would be a huge deal for them. Then you look at other tracks down on the schedule. Texas Motor Speedway in the fall. Texas, less restrictions, as we talked about. Alabama's lifted some restrictions, so Talladega in the fall. But yeah, and then obviously the championship race at Phoenix. I think last year the championship race, their first championship race weekend was not cut short, but it was definitely reduced in terms of who could be there and stuff because of the COVID situation. You weren't able to have a full championship race that they would have wanted, that they anticipated when they first got that race. So this year could be the opportunity for Phoenix to get their first full championship weekend with full capacity grandstands, having people in the infield, drivers and teams obviously competing for the championship, and just having a great championship weekend for Phoenix in all three series. So yeah, Atlanta making a huge step forward, hopefully leading by example. Hopefully it's a big success, because if it is, then I really do think that this could be a step back to normalness, and in terms of other tracks having full fans. Once again, I don't think we're going to have garage access, us fans. I don't think we'll be allowed back in the garage until 2022. I think that COVID right now, even if everything's 100% back, I think NASCAR's still going to play it safe just for the rest of the year, just because it's not worth the risk to them. So, I think that will be off limits, but I could see multiple races this year getting full capacity, grandstands, infield, all that. But yeah, that's all the news I've got today. There's nothing else that's come out. The door number thing is still a controversy. People are freaking out about it on the Twitter world. I don't know about the Instagram world or the Facebook world, but I'm sure there are some people freaking out on there too. But yeah, hope you enjoyed this video. Any more news comes out this week, I feel like it's been a news-filled week, but I will fill you in on that, let you know about that. As for this weekend, we got a race at Kansas this weekend, so might do a live stream sometime tomorrow. I don't know, but yeah, have a great rest of your day.